Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and in this B2B lead generation guide, you're going to learn a simple 3-step process for quickly putting together your own lead generation funnel using free software. Timestamp table of contents in the description, along with some other helpful videos I'll be referencing as we go through this 3-step guide. So the very first thing we want to know is, of course, when and where we should and should not be using this funnel and where it's best. So this is a funnel that you should be using on audience members or prospects. So these are people at the very top who you don't have their contact information yet. The only difference between a prospect and an audience member is someone who's been engaging with your content and already knows who you or your company is, whereas a prospect is a potential lead, but they just haven't heard of you before. So if you're running traffic, you're going to be hitting prospects. If you are pursuing a content marketing strategy, then your content will link to the squeeze page. So in either case, wherever the traffic comes from, your lead generation funnel starts with a squeeze page where you're making an offer. And this offer is kind of the heart of this funnel, and that's what's powering everything. Then your offer is going to direct them to the rest of your sales process. And we'll get more into detail into the rest of what that sales process can look like. But first, we need to talk about the offer itself, which is the most important part of your lead generation process, because without a good offer, no one's going to enter their name and email on that squeeze page. Now, all an offer needs to do is create an aha moment for your ideal customer. It doesn't have to solve all of their problems, right? It doesn't need to be the best offer in the world. It just needs to give them an immediate win and demonstrate that you can actually be helpful and valuable in your niche or field in whatever they're trying to accomplish. So there are 3 types that I recommend starting with. Of course, there are some offers that are like 2-hour webinars or 3-part launch series. You don't need to worry about all of that stuff right now. We're going to 80-20 this process and create a simple PDF, because you can put this together within a week, whereas those are going to take months. Let's go through the 3 different types, and then we'll go through how to figure out what your offer should be. So the first type that works really well with B2B is audits. And this is essentially where you give someone a checklist, or you show them how they can look at their business or their problems or their situation and diagnose how bad it is. Of course, this is very advantageous, because if someone goes through an audit and they go, oh my gosh, my ads account is really bad, or oh my gosh, my file organization system is really bad, and you're a ad consultant or some sort of business operations consultant, well, that's really good for you, because that's setting you up for success during that sales conversation, because now you've given them something to show how bad their problem is. The second type that works really well is a case study. And this works really well when you have provided success to past clients. And so you can put that together in a report showing how you were able to take someone who's in a very similar situation to your ideal customer and provide success. So this is kind of like a thing where, hey, I was able to do this for them, I can probably do the same thing for you too. And the final one is a report where you essentially do a bunch of analysis and research and calculations for your ideal customer, so you save them a bunch of time and energy that they would have had to spend doing the research on their own. So we have examples of each one of those, and then we also have a bonus one. But first, let's go through how on earth do you come up with what your offer should actually be about. Now, I'll link up in the description to a full-blown customer avatar tutorial, but here we're going to 80-20 the process, of course, and you're going to want to spend 20 to 40 minutes answering these 2 questions. What results are they after, and what is the perceived roadblock? It's very important that you go through this exercise from the perspective of your ideal customer. So instead of prescribing what you think is in their way or what you think the solution should be, you want to switch that so that you're looking at it from what they think it is. Even if they might think something is a big problem or in their way, and you look at it and you go, that's not your problem at all. Or you look at it and go, I could fix that in 2 seconds. Well, it doesn't matter, because that's what's important to them. And so we need to meet them where they are. So let's quickly go through an example here. Someone who wants to grow a YouTube channel. What results are they after? They want to be full-time on YouTube, wake up and make their own schedule, and just enjoy having an income making videos. Okay, great. So what do they think is getting in the way of being full-time on YouTube? Well, they probably think they need to drive more views to their videos. They want to grow faster, improve their video quality, and get their videos ranked. So obviously, I went through that example very quickly. You're going to want to spend anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes to come up with all of the different results and roadblocks roadblocks, and you're just going to choose one that you can solve for your ideal customer very quickly. So here are some examples of some other lead magnets that follow our formula. The very first one is an internal one that we use to sell our Analytics Foundation service, where we provided new leads a audit of Google Analytics. So they would go through themselves and check out all of the things that we typically saw wrong inside of their analytics account. This worked really well for us because by the time someone was done, they could see that their analytics account wasn't set up correctly. And so at the end of it, we had a call to action, which I'll get to in the close step. This next one is from a great marketer named Eric Sue. He does a podcast with Neil Patel called Marketing School. And here he was offering a case study of how he was successful getting big clients. Of course, this is going to be very attractive to fellow agency owners who are trying to achieve the same result. Now here he's doing it in a video format. You can just as easily do it in a PDF format. Now, the second to last one before we get to our bonus one is from Motley Fool. If you haven't heard of them, they are a stock subscription service where they essentially tell their subscribers what stocks they should or should not be buying. And so as a lead magnet, they provide a list of stocks that people should be checking out or looking at. So this is a perfect example of a report where they've done hours of research and essentially compacted it into a report and then hand delivered it to their leads. Now this last one is a bonus if you want to get fancy, and that is creating an Excel calculator where you actually help someone do math or calculations to help them make a decision. As an example, as you can see here, this was from my investment advisory practice from ages ago, where we actually provided an Excel sheet where someone could type in the ticker symbol of the stock they were considering investing in, and it would give them a yes or no answer based upon our analysis. So what's really important with all of these is they should provide quick aha moments. You're not going to be asking someone to use a calculator and then try and figure out what the answer is. You want to get to close as here's the answer, here's how to fix it as quickly as possible, as opposed to asking your new lead to make a bunch of decisions or analyze themselves. So once you've figured out what your offer is going to be, we're ready for qualifying, because there's nothing worse than getting on the phone or trying to email someone who actually has no interest in your product or service whatsoever. And the best way to qualify people is to see if they give you their contact information for your lead magnet. So this is where your squeeze page comes in. And all your squeeze page is a simple page where you say, hey, I have this awesome offer for you. Enter your contact information and you get the offer. And that's literally all you have to do on this page. I'm going to show you a headline formula that clearly shows what's in it for them. You want a graphic of your PDF so they have some tangible image of what the offer is, and then your call to action where you're collecting their name and phone number or name and email. Now, when it comes to the information you're asking for, less is more here. You're going to see in a little bit that you can ask all the information you need later on in the process if you need to qualify prospects more. I recommend only asking for the name and email. You can always ask for the other information later on in the process. Now, when it comes to what the heck do you put for your headline, the good news is if we go back to our example, YouTube example here, you already have all the information you need because you have the results and you have the roadblocks, and hopefully you've chosen one or some combination of them for your offer. And so all you need to do is use one of these two simple copywriting formulas. The first one we have here is how to result without hard part and how to result even if roadblock. So using these, you can see from this example, we can create a lot of different headlines with just the few results and roadblocks that we have. Obviously, you'll have a lot more. There's a link in the description to a video that walks you through a deep dive of how to write and create a landing page or squeeze page, because there are, of course, a lot of other options when it comes to your headline formulas. But here we're going to 80-20 and we're going to stick with this one. So our squeeze page would look something like this. How to grow your YouTube channel without getting lots of views, get instant access to the complete YouTube growth blueprint so you can make 2020 your breakout year. By the way, make 2020 or 2050 your breakout year is something that I really like using because it almost inevitably works in almost every niche or market. Now, if you want to learn how to actually put together your squeeze page click by click, there'll be a link in the description to a video that walks you through how I actually put together this squeeze page using a free piece of software called MailerLite in under 30 minutes. The tech part does not have to be complex at all. So I'll link up in the description to a video that walks you through how to do it, as well as an affiliate link to MailerLite, so you can start putting together your squeeze pages very quickly. So with that, we're done with the qualify. Hopefully they've entered their name and email, and now it's time for the close. Now, depending upon how you've structured your business, you might want to try and immediately get on the phone with them, or you might want to send them a few emails and then send them to a checkout page. But if this is your first lead generation funnel, you want to get them on the phone. I know you've probably seen other tutorials in the past where it talks about, oh, we do this email and then we trigger that email and then we send them to a checkout page. But really, that's the simplest and also laziest way to do this. So if you want to start seeing results immediately, pick up the phone, because nobody else is. None of your competitors are picking up the phone. So what you want to do here to close your new potential clients is to get them to schedule a discovery or introductory call with you where you can actually close them on your product or service. And the best way to bridge the gap between your lead magnet and your close is to have a call to action inside of the lead magnet. Now, of course, you can send emails. I'll link up in the description to a video that goes through deeper dive into what specifically you can do with those emails. But here, the simplest way is at the end of your lead magnet is to have a call to action to book a strategy or discovery call with you or whoever is on your sales team. So here's an example of what ours looked like at the very end of our analytics audit. And so after we'd demonstrated our value and after someone had gone through their analytics account and gone, oh my gosh, it's terrible, hopefully they go ahead and book a free strategy call where we can actually go through how we can be more helpful in fixing their analytics and their tracking. Now, of course, the opposite could happen. They could go through your entire lead magnet and say, that's not valuable at all, or I don't have any of those problems, which is perfect because that means you've disqualified them immediately and they're not going to click that button, and you're not going to waste your time on the phone with someone who has no interest in doing business with you because they don't actually have the problem that you solve. So it works as a great double-edged sword where it disqualifies and qualifies prospects at the same time. So you're going to spend less time on the phone with people who aren't actually who aren't really interested in doing business with you. Now, when someone clicks that button, you have two options, Calendly and Book Like a Boss. Now, I personally use Book Like a Boss just because it was a little cheaper at the time. You can go ahead and check out the pricing and the free plans that they have. But what's important with this booking page is that you set times and dates that work for you and your schedule. You definitely don't want to just have it open 24/7. I recommend limiting it so someone can't book more than 2 weeks out, and someone needs to give yourself 24 hours before someone books, because I've definitely had that where I wake up in the morning and I find out I have 3 sales calls in the afternoon, and that was definitely not how I was planning to spend my day. So once you have them actually booked, then you want to do one last step to really make sure that they are someone who can potentially be closed. And this is where you use a free tool by Google called Google Forms, where you simply ask them a couple of questions before they get on the phone with you. Now, you can ask all of the questions that you wanted to ask way back on the squeeze page, but whatever you ask here, you need to ask a money question, because you need some way to know whether or not this person can actually afford your services. So in this particular instance, this was for a advertising management service. So we simply asked what their budget was, because we knew if they chose a particular set of numbers that they probably weren't going to be able to afford our management fee, and our particular strategies weren't going to work for a budget that was that low. So whatever you do, you want to make sure that you have some sort of stealth budget question in there, so you can know when you get on the phone with someone that they can actually afford whatever your product or service is. And with that, your B2B lead generation funnel is complete. Make sure you check out the links in the description to some other helpful videos in writing your landing and squeeze pages, as well as coming up with other lead magnet ideas. Hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive sales funnel videos just like this one. And until the next, keep building the business you love.